right. So I think we're basically talking through the m- the partners platform, right? So basically,
Yes.
they have two platforms. I think this will be their platform that we'll be using. Um, Apparently, this is the new one, but unfortunately, we are on the old one. We have to do some migration to the new one. So that's why I've sent you the two platform details, right? So
Okay.
and I think in the email I also made sure the details are there. I can't show it because we are presenting the screen, so and we are recording the sessions. I don't want to show the sensitive password and username and everything. But basically,
Okay.
when you log into the Transflow portal, they have the inflow and outflow. So inflow is all
Mhm.
collections, right? That is the 1.5%. And outflow, I believe. So this is it. So inflow, you'll find all inflow here. That's the 1.5. So the assumption is that if I come to my inflow transaction list, if I
Mhm.
did a transaction amount of 1 CD, they are taking 1.5 of it, which will translate to zero. So nothing gets, But let's say I did a collection of 103 CDs, right? Then they are taking 1.5 of this. So I haven't calculated it, but I'm assuming it's 1.52. And the balance of
Okay.
it is what they would be paying us. And because we are doing a lot of transaction, this is the cumulative value of it. That's the balance brought forward. That's at this transaction line. Does that make sense?
So that balance there is what they will be giving us, right?
Correct. That
All
and
right.
then so that balance, the last transaction will always have the most up-to-date balance. That's the running balance, right? And I mean, I
Okay.
hope I'm using the terms right. And that is what is showing here. The 2209.87. You can see that as this guy.
Okay.
So assuming all of today's transaction is done, we need to compare this 229.87, 2290.87 with our transaction for the day, right? And then make sure that if we have a gross of our transaction minus the 1.5, value calculated on the total gross, the net is
Mhm.
equivalent to the 2209.87, right? This means that from reconciliation standpoint, we are good. So when they settle 2209.87, that means we have done our checks and we know that's what we are expecting, right?
Okay.
So one of the things that we will be doing currently will be manual is that on this dashboard, we will want to make sure that that is all showing, right? How much we are expecting from them. That's the partner house cash conversation we're having when we're doing the accounting calculations, right?
Yeah.
So that will
Yeah.
all show here. But in the meantime, what is going to happen is we have a collection table where the transaction for the day can be downloaded, right? And then,
Okay.
so the whole of today's transaction, it will be in a range. So for instance, um, we can pull all the transaction for today and then it will be exported to your email. And then you'll be able to kind of say, okay, as of today, this is how much on our side we did for all of today, right? So you'll be able to kind of download the transaction for, let's say, today, right? It will be sent to your email. And then you will now do the computations and say, okay, if we net off the 1.5 of ITC, all this transaction, we should be getting this 2209.87, right, for the day. And then that
Okay.
means we are good, right? So we'll be doing it
So
day to day.
let me get some clarity here. So this 229 220987 is the amount we are paying out plus our 1.5.
Correct.
Okay. All right. We can
No,
continue.
say that again. Say that again.
So I'm saying that this is what ITC is owing us. They have already taken their
Yeah,
1.5 out.
1.5. Yes.
So this is the 1.5 of the remaining 3% we are charging plus the
Is
gross we are going to pay to the merchants.
yes. No, plus the net of what we are going to pay to the merchant, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
right. So yeah, so now this one you are looking at purely the partner house cash, where
Mm-hmm.
ITC has taken is 1.5, and then the that net that we are getting, we also need to take our 1.5 out, and that is
Right.
when the partner, the merchant now have their balance, right?
Yes.
That will be paid out to them. So um, what I'm saying is that when we start, or when you start, what we are going to do is we are going to make it possible for you to actually download all the transactions, the daily inflow, and then we use Excel calculation to sum it, or we can even optimize it and let the system automatically tell you what the daily gross is, you know, what the
Mm-hmm.
daily net is, and then all that fun stuff. So it's easy. So that's something that. So these were some of the functionalities we were talking about. Like as you start using the system, okay, this is something that is, if it's automated, my life will be easier, right?
Right.
And then maybe a dashboard telling you immediately, okay, as of this now, maybe it's supposed to be 2295, 220987. That's what we are expecting them to pay us, and you see it here. So whenever you
Okay.
come here, you go there and it's the same. You're like, yeah, no reconciliation needed for today, right? Unless you are seeing variances, and then you're like, okay, let me draw down and see where the variance coming from.
Okay. So from this 2209.87, our 1.5 is equal to 33.148 cedis. Is there a balance that shows like something like that?
Not really, but that's good, right? So you know that, okay, the remaining is what goes to merchants. So when you deduct
Yes.
that 33, what do you get left?
So from 33.148, uh, so we have about 2,176 going out to the merchants.
How much? Sorry, can you repeat that figure?
2,176. I
Okay,
missed the decimal, so I didn't add it to my calculations, but
okay, that's fine. So if we look at the merchant list, so this is the merchants. Now, this lists all merchants, right? But in the future, we would want to make it possible to refine it, right? So that when you come in, you see all merchants working today, right? Doing activities today. So that you don't
okay.
have to chase around. But again, we have a merchant, one of the few merchants who have started using. And since Monday to now, this is how much we have to pay him. And this
Okay.
is minus, so this is technically his 3% already taken out, the net.
Yeah.
But again, we'll have
Okay.
to look at these numbers to validate to see if even the system is doing it correctly and this is accurate. Once we take the 3% out for this merchant's transactions, right? Because we have to do those spot checks to make sure once we have a tons of merchants, our system is doing the calculations well and we are not losing out money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you take this merchant, he's doing more of the transaction this week. We have another one who is doing 0.1, 0.1. That will change. The name is Mawu. Yeah, so he has so far made like 1.09 in like his total transaction so far accumulated. But this merchant is doing full live transactions. He's not yet been settled because we have explained to
Okay.
them we are putting the structures together, so they should pardon us. But I don't think they will be happy if by end of next week they haven't been settled because this is how they are operating capital, right? Because it has to go back to them so they can be able to replenish their stock. So basically, it has to be T+1, which is what we have agreed with them and they are comfortable with. So their transactions
Okay.
today, we have to pay them out the following day. So with that being said, I think some of the work that would come in your pipeline is one, what are the inflow as of now, right? And then on the BoldAssure app, what is the projected inflow? Does it match this? And then also, if you take the merchants who are working, what are their balances, right? So this is a typical merchant. This is their balance 2107.68, right? So,
Right.
and I think when you did the calculation, it was around about the same figure, right? That
Yes,
we have, yeah.
yes.
But we'll have to do spot checks to make sure that even if we look at this transaction, if this merchant's transaction for the week, after, I mean, he paid all the things like, so this is his transactions, right? As you can see, and the various channels that these transactions came through, right? Now,
Yeah.
after this is the actual amount that they are charging, right? So I think what we would need is, I mean, of course, when you go into the details, you see the fee that we are charging is on top of the amount here. There's the 3%. We are taking 3% outright, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you calculate this, is this accurate? So that's what we are doing for all the transactions that you are seeing for the merchant here, right?
Okay.
So the total, so we are in one of the merchants portal. If you look at this
Okay.
merchant, this is the 2107.68. I guess the question is to validate, is this accurate out of the collection
Okay.
list, right? If we sum everything and we take 3%, do we end up with the balance that they see on their dashboard? So
Okay.
yeah, so that is something we haven't. I mean, I program it, but I don't think I've fully tested it. Maybe we'll be missing, or is it fully accurate? That's something yet to be validated.
Okay.
So yeah, but basically, yeah, I think there are some improvements so that when you come to the dashboard as an administrator or back office, you don't have to hassle a lot, right? You know, people who are doing transactions today, right? And then you can
Mm-hmm.
actually see their balances filtered out, right? So for instance, if you come here, you see you have all the merchants, right? But it would be nice for you to just have people who are doing transactions today filtered out for you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, for the merchant side, and even we get to a time where actual, the general public will also have transactions they are doing and they have balances that. So yeah, it gets very complicated in the long run. But at least if it's working for the merchant, it will work for the general public one too. But
Sure.
yeah, I think ultimately being able to kind of see who has a balance will be nice. All the people with balances will be like a quick, easy report for you. And being able to
Mm.
even go into the history for that particular account to say, okay, these are all the transactions they've done that is matching the balance that they are currently seeing on the portal, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the IT consortium side, the finance partner you'll be working with, he is going to be
Mm-hmm.
paying you this. And it's our responsibility, or you will be our guardian to indicate, okay, the amount you are going to pay us is good. You are signing off
Yeah.
on it. Right? Or
All right.
hold on, don't pay me that. I'm seeing some discrepancies. Let me look at it and pay me after that correction is done. Right. So those are some of the things. And also we need to kind of work with that finance person to understand more around reversal.
Okay.
So I have a
Okay.
meeting this weekend where one of the merchants, the one who is doing live transactions, is saying that yeah, Justin, can you hear me? I
I
think I
can hear
mistakenly
you.
ended the call. Yeah. So yeah, reversal was another thing that came up. Say we want to do a reversal. Do we get our full amount back, or do they take the 1.5 out and give us a net? So like, and we need to be able to negotiate possibly for full amount. But in case they're like, we have to take it out, then we need to make sure we are writing it in our refund policy. That in case you do a transaction, you need a refund. It's going to take 2 days for you to get that refund, and the refund will not be full. It will be minus the payment charges, right? I don't have all the details, but those are some of the things you
This
can.
this this goes to just the merchants or ITC.
Say that again.
I'm asking, does this go to the merchants, this policy? Is it for the
So
merchants
the
or it
policy will
goes to
go to the
ICC?
merchant. We need to define the policy based on what
Okay,
ITC will tell us. So we ask
okay,
ITC, okay, what is if they have given us the ability to request for reversal on a transaction, right? Assuming we like, oh, this transaction was incorrectly done, we need a reversal. I guess some of the open question is when we request for this reversal, how long is it going to take for them to process it? So we can go into our refund policy, right? That's one. Two,
okay.
do we get the full refund for the reversal? Because we know off the bat they are charging us 1.5. Or do we get a net, which is the amount minus the 1.5 upon reversal? Right. So we will now update our refund policy based on those details because we don't have all that details fleshed out yet. Because those were
Yeah,
all our finance related conversations, and now that we are there, we have to make sure we are having it. So it will advise our refund policy to our merchants that hey, this transaction you are doing, in case you have to do a refund, you only get minus the processing fee, right? You never get full refund. So they know ahead of time. So they make sure they are not
okay,
doing incorrect transaction. Or we can advertise based on how ITC give us that yeah, you get full reversal or full refund, sorry, assuming you do a reversal. So we don't have that details yet. So the finance partner they will liaise with you. I mean, we can all have a meeting. I can be on it. These are some of the open questions that is still there. And then
okay.
the other one is if you remember the contract. So disbursement and payout. Yeah, so disbursement and payout is the outflow, but we can confirm with them. So, like, if I'm sending money to you from BoldAssure, that money will be
Mm-hmm.
taken from the pre-funded account we have with ITC. So that pre-funded account is 395, right? So
Okay,
if I'm sending you 200 CDs, it will be taken from 395 because that's what we have sitting with them,
okay,
right? So, and then we will, let's say, if and we will obviously charge our customers for sending this money out, right? And get it. Yeah, we will probably get it in the inflow because when they send the money, we are going to pull it from their wallets, right? And that when we pull it from their wallet, it's going to come into inflow plus charges for sending the money. But ITC will now pull that money out of the outflow um, funds we have hold with them, right? So that's the difference between the inflow and the outflow. But I mean, of course, once you connect with the account person, it will be easy and you basically understand over the course of time, right?
okay,
Yeah, so I'm not really worried about that side. I think once you start working with them, it's gonna be very, very easy for you to get some of these questions answered. And like I said, so some of the activities we did in Ghana, not to digress, we were able to map out the potential partnerships. And so ITC is Ghana. I don't even have them here, right? But ITC will be here. These are all potential partners that we'll be working with for this services. So we have ITC here. To kind of to give you a good idea the scale of what we are talking about. And I know you kind of mentioned, yeah, Alex, this is a big thing. So if you take the partners so far, we have ITC, but we have NIB, Zenith Bank, who are all going to be coming on board. We have CrossSwitch, which is also in Ghana. They take us to the Nigeria market. They are going to be coming on board. We have Corey Global, which is in Ivory Coast. They are going to take us to all these francophone countries, right? So basically, the activity we are doing now, even though it's in Ghana, the scale of it in the long term is going to be broader, right? And I share this with
mm-hmm.
you because I want you to understand that ITC is just one little partner we are starting with to improve this system you see here to be able to handle all the other operating countries that we expand to.
Okay,
Right. So this inflow and outflow is going to be the same across almost all the partners. You're going to have the same conversation across, especially when it comes to money transfer, right? And
okay,
collections. That's what, yeah. So this is a good basics for us. but that baby step is going to help us design proper reports and so on and so forth, so that you know the finance folks, it's easy for them to quickly get what they need for reconciliations and etc. Right?
Okay.
All right, cool. So that is the inflow and outflow. We also have the airtime, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
I've also sent you the airtime details. So basically, the airtime is basically we should be able to send airtime from BoldAssure, right? So let me
Mm-hmm.
log out and then log in and see if I can send you some airtime bundle, right? So assuming I come in here, I should be able to do mobile top up. And then I don't know if I have you here. I don't have you. What is your phone number?
055
So 55
966
966
5270.
5270. Is it the system automatically brings your name here?
Yes.
Yeah, and so let me use your Zartec.
There's AMAC.
Oh yeah, sorry. I know people also spell with MC. Yeah, so yeah, so I should be able to send you an airtime, right? So say I'm sending you 5 CD airtime. And the reason we are doing this test is for you to realize, actually, let me make it 2 CD so I don't run out. So let me come in here. And so all the configurations are also here, right? We have different plans. So let me see which one can I make. Mm, mm. Okay, so coming back to the airtime. So now I think this is actually open to the public. We haven't done a lot of advertisement yet because, of course, we need to make sure we are accounting for the monies properly. So
Mm-hmm.
this is like very soft release for few testing. So if you look at our airtime balance today, you would see that from the ITC. So this portal is where we can see airtime. So this is the current airtime balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we have with them. Um, Now, this very airtime balance, right? If you come here, you see currently it's 194, right? We are going to buy 2 CD airtime for you, right?
Okay.
Now, if we do that, um, what we do is Zatec is going to process these 2 CDs, so it's going to come to our collection, right? And then we're going to add charges to it, of course. So that 2 CD is going to come to our collection. So let's see how that transaction will flow. But of course, you remember during the contract, they said for airtime they give us 3% commission. So I don't know if you are
Yeah.
taking notes, but we need to figure out where are they going to pay this 3%, and it's an open question we still have, including this 40 cents, right? And then the Ghana water. So basically, if we come to BoldAssure and I find you and I search for 2 CD airtime, right? I can
Mm-hmm.
approve with my Airtel Tigo number. Right. Now, mind you, this is collections, right? Because we are collecting money. But this money, we are collecting it on behalf of ourselves, Zartek. Because airtime account is for Zartek, not a merchant. So these funds will come to Zartek, right?
Okay.
So if we get this transaction approved, you should be able to get your airtime. I haven't received the prompt yet, but we'll see. Okay, I still not received the prompt, but typically if we do the transaction, that 2 cedi would be a collection which will come to our inflow, right? As an airtime.
Um, if you are not in Ghana, would you still receive the prompt?
I actually did one yesterday at work, so
Oh, okay. All right.
yeah, for some reason I'm even receiving calls, so
Hey,
I don't know if
okay.
it's temporary or it might go away. I'm not sure. Yeah, well, I didn't receive the prompt today. Yeah, so basically, if we do airtime, this balance will reduce, right? So one of the open questions for airtime is okay, that 3% commission that we agreed on, how are you going to pay us, right? Because we've done some airtime transactions. You see that?
They haven't deducted the money from the account, right?
No, so airtime is also pre-funded. We have pre-funded that account.
Okay.
So this balance is a pre-fund account. We have put some money here, and then when people buy airtime, they take it out of that money,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But because we are so there are two legs to this. Airtime is a package on its own, right? We put we pre-fund that account, and at the end of the day, after we have sold, we are supposed to make 3% commission, which they will pay to us. So, assuming we have pre-funded our airtime to be 200, and we are selling, we are expecting to earn commission, right? So the question is,
Okay.
where is the commission? Because these are transactions we have done, right?
Yeah.
So where is our airtime commission? We don't have the details yet, and those are
Mm-hmm.
some of the conversations we need to have with the accounts team, vis-a-vis the contract agreement that we have. And
So who
then
is to pay that commission?
based on the contract, the commission payable to merchant, we are the merchant, is 3%, which means they will be paying commission for us selling airtime on their behalf.
That's ITC.
Yeah, they will be paying us the 3%. But again,
Okay.
I don't see it reflecting in the system here.
Yes.
So I'm not fully sure how that 3% is being calculated, or is it like I don't know yet. So maybe we will get some extra details from there. But so currently beside the inflow and outflow, which is on this side, we also have the airtime, which is on this side, which we are expecting to be paid 3% of it. So we need to understand how they'll be paying that 3%. So those are some of the open questions. So um to kickstart the conversations with them, we already have a Skype group, and that was part of the reason why I wanted you to have Skype. And if you
Okay.
can see the Skype group, this is where we go to, where they have added their finance person. So the Lali will be your finance resource. Emil is our engineer. I added him here, so they thought he was the finance resource, but I said no, Emil is not the finance resource. I'll be adding you later. So essentially, once I add you, I'm gonna introduce you as our finance resource. We are just starting from ground up, so you are not missing anything. We are all going to go into this learning the ropes together, right?
Okay.
So pretty much Delali will be the resource. So we work with Delali. The open questions, I hope you took notes of it, but I also send a video link. We need to make sure that for airtime we know where they are going, how they are going to pay commission. Because mind you only have 3 transactions today, but tomorrow it will be hundreds of thousands of transactions, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, people are gonna be buying airtime here and there. And so we need to know how we are gonna get that 3% commission. And of course, there are other products that they want to enable for us. We have the multi-choice, we have the Ghana water. We are even thinking of working with them to enable school fees payment, right? So we
Yeah.
have data bundle and school fees, which is coming on as add-ons. And then
Mm-hmm.
the card payment will add on to the mobile money, so people with card can pay. So these are the add-ons, but again, the services are going to increase somewhat. But then we knowing the commission and how things are paid to us will help us a lot, right? So we know um, that, okay, once we do airtime, we are going to get paid the 3%, and this is how we get paid that 3%, right? Because I don't see it. I only see the airtime transactions here. I don't see the commissions we have earned, right?
Is this their platform or Zatex's platform?
This is their platform where we can get, so
Okay.
this is their platform where we can monitor the airtime, and this is their platform where we can see our inflow and outflow, right? But like I
Okay.
said, this is like their legacy platform, this one, and they
Mhm.
are waiting for us to migrate to this one. So we will see the same thing in just one place instead of switching between two places, right? But for now,
Okay.
that migration hasn't started. So we are going to use the two until we switch over, and then all the information you see will now show up here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is what I wanted to bring you up to speed on. I know we've spoken for some time, so I'll stop here and see if you have questions for me. And I'm going to add you to the Skype group and introduce you as our finance resource to work with Delali.